Thanks for joining me in this meditation, which is a heart-centered meditation. We're going to be using a flower shape in our movement. So I really like to do a visualization and a movement practice. It's fine doing stillness meditations, but quite often when we bring in dimensions of movement, it helps us to access a more feminine embodiment for a start, but also to kind of loosen all the tight corners in a similar way to the way we work with oscillations attending to the fascia and the nervous system. We're doing the same thing for our tissues, for our brain, and for our heart and nervous system through this type of meditation, so that actually we can change our brain waves through the different cycles. So there's a woman called Sarita Sol who does a meditation that's a heart-brain coherence meditation, and she uses the lemniscat. And she uses that as a visualization. And what I really like to do is to take that and to put it into movement, but making your lemniscat, so that's the infinity symbol, and taking it into a movement this way. And you're not just doing forwards, backwards, and you're not just doing side to side, but you're trying to get a number of different angles and diagonals, and that you're really attending to all of these different kind of movement flows. And it's really helpful to loosen things off, to inquire, to attend, to integrate. And so through that, we are going to anchor more into ourselves. So first of all, just letting yourself come to the settled position. So just let your breath slow down. Notice where your energy is. If you're very thinky, if you're holding a lot of tension in your gut or your butt or your feet. Those are usually the three key places. Often the jaw. Let this all relax through a little bit. Feeling free to make any sounds as you start to release, in the way you would a deep sigh. And you can change it to a note or a song if you're feeling that way. And just starting with a very small, slow movement as you let your awareness start to drop into the heart space. So you're really just thinking about the space between your shoulders, underneath your collarbones. And you can let that lift up and drop down. Push away from your legs, lifting up through the small movement and dropping down. Slowing your movement down. As you do that, try and let your breath become more nasal. And you can see I'm moving very much left to right, kind of doing a little bit of a figure of eight. And what happens if we start to think of that figure of eight forwards and backwards? So you're really kind of like letting the sternum come forward in a little circle and then come back in this little circle and come forwards, come back, and by all means use your hand to navigate the shape for you. while your body starts to get used to it. And see if you can do a diagonal. What happens when you slow it right down? And so you notice that every time I do any direction with my figure of 8, I'm actually always crossing over in my center of my heart center. My final diagonal. Very forward that way on that side. Doesn't like to come back. What happens if I do a little inquiry into this back corner for a minute? And you can let your arms come into it, making spirals. Again, I'm just dodging my bar here. Pushing the energy away, pulling it back towards you, pushing it away, pull it back towards you. Always returning back to your heart center. It's like you're releasing what you don't really want and you're pulling back in what you do. Feeling the space all around you, knowing your own dimensions, even behind you if your shoulders allow it. Giving them a little roll. As you come to stillness for a moment, just reflecting into the sensations in your body. Maybe you feel the blood moving a little bit faster. You just feel it moving. It doesn't need to be fast or slow. Maybe you really feel that change in tension. I know I do through here. Because we've moved the breath quite a lot and we've actually moved our hips quite a lot through it as well. There's changes in the pelvic floor and the back of the hip capsules. And think about what you drew into yourself and just go back to a really shallow figure of 8. You might want to do a few in each direction. Think about that flower blossoming in your heart space. Think about all the good things that you're drawn into yourself. Breathe into the back of the heart space. Really feel that width and depth that you have available to you. And being a compassionate witness of appreciation for what is inside you, what is you, who you are in this space, in this moment. Taking every bit of that space to be in your full self. Because this edge, the skin, is not the edge of us. This is the edge of us, and even further in the way that we impact each other. 2 kilometers, up to 10 miles, some people will say. But I'd be happy to start with 2 kilometers. So if you think of everybody you come into contact with today, everything, every space, every bit of the environment that you come into contact with, being able to feel that compassionate awareness that you have brought into your heart space, and that you are then witnessing everything around you and everyone around you with the same.